Yes, my name's Paul Brearley and I'm a member of the Greater Manchester Bench. The bench chairman is the person who is elected to lead the bench and, in my view, to represent the views as best that an individual can to the relevant authorities like HMCTS, like the Judicial Office, like the Judicial College, amongst others. Well, it's a position which is voted for annually by the members of each individual bench. So at the appropriate time, a notification will come out from your bench support team inviting people to put their names forward to be elected as either a bench deputy chairman or a bench chairman. I've always been interested in public service from a very young age. I was doing public service from about 18 years of age, and a very dear friend of mine suggested to me, because she had recently become a magistrate, that I would be well suited to joining the bench. Well, the role of the bench chairman, as I say, is, as far as I'm concerned, to represent the views of the bench at large as best as one possibly can. I mean, clearly, benches come in various sizes. Some are very big, like Greater Manchester, some are obviously very small. And with the increase in size, it does, one has to be honest, become increasingly difficult to try and relate to all the members of the bench. However, it can be done, and with the aid of email and electronic communication, there are going to be certain issues where you need to represent the views of the bench, because those views of the constituent members of the bench might be different from HMCTS, for instance. So, I am always reminded of a watch phrase that I've always used, and that is that I, as the bench chairman, work with HMCTS. I do not work for HMCTS. I think the skills required to be the bench chairman, you need to. I'm not sure it is a skill, but first of all, you need the time to be the bench chairman. I think you need to be part diplomat, because there are going to be lots and lots of people who are members of the bench who are going to want you to take up such a fight or such an issue, and it may very well be that you don't see that there is any particular mileage in doing so. So I think expectation management, diplomacy, sometimes dogged determination are three principal skills that I would suggest to anybody who's considering standing for the position of bench chairman. Some of the highs and lows. Some of the highs, most certainly. I would consider that I've had a fairly significant part to play in the acceptance by the powers that be that direct entry into the family panel should be considered. I was very pleased that Greater Manchester was one of the three pilot schemes that were originally unveiled by HMCTS and the Ministry of Justice. That has proved an absolutely rip-roaring success. And similarly, I would like to take, hopefully, some credit for the increase in the mandatory retirement age of justices. I have been campaigning, I suppose, with a small c for 6 or 7 years to try and get that increased as an obvious solution to the crisis in the numbers of magistrates that we've got at the minute. Some of the lows, I don't think anybody would ever have wanted to be a bench chairman during the COVID-19 pandemic. That has severely curtailed the way in which we've actually undertaken the dispensation of justice. It's carried on, but I don't think certain aspects of it have been particularly ideal, but hopefully those days are behind us now. I wouldn't say that there were any particular barriers as far as I can tell. It was a straightforward process. A number of my colleagues encouraged me to put my name forward, and the election process actually was undertaken and delivered a verdict. I suppose in interaction with the members of the bench, clearly, from my perspective, Greater Manchester bench is the largest single bench in the country. So to be able to actively interact with 860, 870 justices is a fairly tall order, but it can be done. And I would like to think that I was certainly approachable, I was available, and if I didn't know the answer, I'd always do my best to try and get back to people or point them in the direction of somebody that would know the answer. So, genuinely facilitating the views, the comments, the worries, the concerns, the joys of people who make up the bench. Is one of the most fulfilling things that you can actually get involved in. I really don't think that it does. So long as you are, I suppose, an established member of the bench, so long as people can see you've got a track record, you've probably been appointed to either the youth panel or the family panel or any other of the panels within the bench. You get your reputation there, and I'm more interested in people's reputation as to what they actually do, as to where on earth they come from. It makes not one jot of difference to me. Well, I think they have to have a genuine interest in public service. They need to enter into this with their eyes wide open. I can think of a number of people who have approached me in the past, and they've been very keen on joining the magistracy until they've asked the question seriously of, well, what's the pay like? And when you advise people that we don't get paid, their interest seems to evaporate. So I think people need to enter into it, absolutely knowing what they're getting into. Seek advice. I would ask them, to perhaps go down to a magistrate's court and observe what goes on to see if it's really for them. Obviously, even if one's made an application and you are successful, all the training in the world doesn't necessarily equip you for some of the decisions that you need to take. Some people can do it and some people can't. I think people also need to ensure that they can fulfill our undertakings, that you would be able to complete 26 sittings, 13 days in a year. Because generally speaking, I think there is an expectation these days that we would like people to do more. However, the absolute minimum is that 13 days. It is time consuming, and you really do need to ensure that you have got that time to devote to the role, because it is a very important role. And bench chairmen, I am sure, take their responsibilities very, very seriously indeed.